Hi guys, welcome to my channel, Lighting Your Sunshine, where we like to shine a light within and empower ourselves. So I hope everyone's having a great day and had an even wonderful weekend. I peopled so much this weekend that as soon as I got home, I was off on to another adventure, and a really cool synchronistic moment happened. As I was getting to know this person, I always felt drawn to them. I knew that they were very heart-centered, that they were good people. But as we started talking, it turns out that we've been running in the same circles and even like at the same jobs at the same time and with the same people, and we just never met. And I just thought that was so interesting. How could you be almost like parallel lives but never get to meet that person? And so I don't know. The universe works in mysterious ways. Sometimes you're just not meant to meet someone at that point, but they're meant to be there later. So today's intention is just, what do we need to know? Right? Just getting the energy in these cards. That one, and nope, it went back in. I wanted to come out, but it didn't. It's these ones. Okay, and 3 of these, they say. 1, 2. Cool. This one flew. Okay, we'll lay things out. Oh, these cards landed really weird. So we'll see. We'll just start at the beginning. We got groups, we got hidden ones, we've got a lot of black and blue. So first one came out is moderation in reverse. So that is, right now is not really quite the time to be stingy. Now is kind of that time, because what I'm getting, like moderation, right? Normally going like slowly and surely is the way to go, but it was in reverse. Like this is telling me actually, because when I saw the red, it was like, they showed me almost in terms of someone like eating. Like right now is that time of like bulking up on energy and like going. It's not a time of being stingy with resources, time, and effort right now. Because the next one that comes out is a completion. That whatever you've been working on previously, that cycle, that chapter has now ended. It's no more. There's no more effort to be given into that. And so now that energy comes back to you, and now it needs to be channeled into a different avenue, means whatever it is that we keep saying your stories, your creative project, your whatever it is, right? So the next one that came out was forgiveness, but it also was in reverse, which also, that's very tied to this completion. So, maybe you stay stuck and you're like, oh, I still need to learn a bit more from this situation. There's still some healing left for me to do, but this was in reverse. It's saying like there's just no more energy to be given to that situation. The more and more you kind of dwell in the past, it still kind of gives your energy to that. No more kicking yourself for not making decisions based off of what you know now, because you didn't know what you know now. But the longer and longer you mope, I'm seeing someone be mopey, that isn't helping in this season, this cycle that we're in. Now is about going forward, your spiritual journey. Really cool adventures for everyone who answer the call. So the next one that comes out was 7 of Swords, but it also was in reverse. There's a lot of reverse cards here. And so this one would have been like the past energy. I see someone in, they had to kind of like look like they it wasn't quite around trustworthy people. I keep seeing, you know, who can you trust? Who's always got that hidden knife, you know, to come out, and it's like, that's completed. I think that's just so hard to know if you've been in that energy for so long, about not being able to trust others, for not, it's almost like picking apart everybody's intention. And I think in the past that was something that needed to be done in order to get the truth and the clarity. But once you actually free yourself from that situation, that kind of energy isn't helping anymore. If anything, if there is forgiveness or healing still to do, it only delays it. When you're in a happy, healthy community, you don't need to worry about backstabbing and betrayal. So it's going to be a tough process. If you've removed yourself from the situation, as the cards are mentioning, because of the completion, now that time to go forward, then all you need to know is that those thoughts that you used to have are no longer valid. It's not true anymore. But if you're staying in that situation, like this moderation card was like, get out. It's not helpful. It's not helping them. It's not helping you, because now you're constantly, even if they do something nice to you, you'll always be like, they're just picking people apart. And I see people picking themselves apart. And that's the... So in the card, she's holding up, to me, that's like that little violin. So somebody really wants to, you know, put blame, you know, point and blame others, or, you know, feeling a little bit of a pity party for yourself. And it's like, don't stay in that victim mentality too long, because that's not your identity. And if people see you as that, those aren't really the people that you want helping to build your new foundation, because it will be built on lack. The very next card that wants to come out was upside down. So we're going to skip this. We're going to skip this one, they're saying, and go to these two. And then this is the thing that kind of, just do what they said. Okay, woo. So the next one out is Ace of Wands, also in reverse. And it's saying a new opportunity, right? So we're skipping something. There is this opportunity coming, and it will be with a rebirth. The Death was also in the reverse. So it's like avoiding a transition. And so that's what they're kind of showing me, is now they really want to talk about the transitional phase. From when you're this person to, you know, you go through the ego death, and then you're this person. And this person has changed so much that they never could go back to this way. So if there are some thoughts or residual patterns that come forward, just to let those go, to let those melt. So what's this? So this is a transitional phase, okay. And so, you know, they say everyone handles it a little bit differently. You know, some people need to rest. That's where they're saying you're getting confused with the moderation. You are supposed to take action and go and leave this past phase behind. But in the transitional phase, once you let that go, there is a rest period. They're saying you're not meant to go and rest in that old environment with those people. You can't heal in the environment that made you sick. And if you didn't do the resting transitional phase, you're avoiding the rebirth and the brand new beginning, because if you don't do this transitional phase, you're just gonna start another cycle, different places, different faces, yeah, I don't know what I just said. But do you ever realize that if you are a person who jumps from relationship to relationship to relationship without ever actually doing the work, or it's, I see them doing the work, but they're not doing the transition phase. And that's what they're saying is different things. The work is building up, and like clearing and removing, and you know, the ego death. And like, that's hard. I feel like someone did all that, but then they didn't do the transition phase, and then they just jumped to something else. And so now, because they didn't do this part, they're just doing the whole cycle all over again. So this moderation card comes into many things. Now, in the transition phase, it goes upright. It's like, take things slow. Don't jump into things that if you truly don't know, like you need to get clarity before you make a decision, or, you know, let's just see what this card is. When I picked it up, all I heard was peace be with you. And so without doing the transitional phase, that's the one that actually brings the peace. That brings the, that's the super open, connected to everything. It's like you are the whole universe type peace. Everything is in its exact space, in its place, and you're just happy to be a part of it. From there, that's where the really cool opportunities are going to come. But what's the card we have? It's the Four of Pentacles, which is stability. Four of Pentacles is just building a foundation. It's the integrating the hard work and letting it solidify. Because it's almost like they're showing me like the hard work is like a sculpture. Like you've done the molding and you've done all that stuff. But if you don't take the time for it to harden and like become more solid, that's where the new everything comes. So the next, there's a pile here. And right up, the first one is relationship change in reverse. So that's where they're saying, are you just jumping into the exact same relationship that you've already been repetitively over and over again? Are you doing it out of impulse? Or they're just saying, make sure you really know the difference between lust and love. And don't go in carrying those old baggage. Don't bring your baggage. Don't bring those old thought patterns. Because if you really didn't trust the last people, and if you are going into this new one, relationship change, it's saying like now you have to break those cycles of past wounds and hurt. And like, I just keep seeing someone I see two people. I always see multiple situations. One taking everything just as is and not actually thinking it through. That's where the moderation comes through. They're like, slow down. You didn't do the rest in the transitional phase. Then I see someone starting something, but they're not feeling confident in it. And from that, they are questioning and scrutinizing everything at the beginning. And that's just not fair. So the one behind it was spiritual career, but it also was in reverse. Let's just go a bit more. We're in a part of awakening. Like lots of people are awakening, right? We have right now I don't know if you heard, there's a ghostwriter who just made an AI song about, it's like a collab with Drake and The Weeknd. And, you know, now there's a little bit of controversy, like where's the rights and like, you know, lawsuits and those kind of things. But, you know, technology is kind of coming to take mundane jobs away from us so that we could live our purpose. You are meant to, whatever you do for work, that's why they're saying it's so important to work on your project, or, you know, write your story. And your story is not writing a literal book, it's going out and living life. And so a lot of people are now, whereas before we based relationships on like who could help bring in two incomes so that we could do this house, and, you know, it was always like parents working themselves silly just to provide. But now there are machines that are going to kind of do all the mundane tasks and things like that. And so when you choose your partnerships now, it really should align with your beliefs and like a spiritual sense. A lot of people now get to go into partnerships that go out into the world, and by you going out and being this loving couple and having really good boundaries and respect and all this for each other, you're going to actually teach so many other people how to start loving themselves and how to actually love another. Because on the Fool's Journey, right, the first one is always great. Like, one is always brand new starts, brand new ideas, brand new everything. But once you get to two is about two people coming together, and it just got like really windy outside. It's just like that, learning to get along because they think differently than you. So when you can actually meet someone who thinks so differently than you, and blend that into this beautiful spiritual bond, that will always be the path to go. That's the way we're kind of evolving now. You're meant to do your purpose. You're meant to have these divine connections to show others that they're worthy and, you know, badass. That's it. That's all I keep hearing. So they're saying the transition phase. It's time to let go of the past, those thoughts and those things. You acted that way with those people for a specific reason, because that was the environment that you were in. But if that is a low energy, and these are habits that, old habits die hard, they say, but it doesn't mean that they don't. You might feel lost, right? Just floating around right now. That's kind of what I'm seeing someone. But that is the transition phase. And the thing with the transition phase is it's not quite for you to go out and start doing things, forcing things, but it's for you to settle inside first. If you haven't stopped those pointing or victim mentality or blaming or, you know, scrutinizing, judgmental things, these energies, if they can't go into the next one, that's why the relationship and spiritual career was in reverse. That's when the new opportunity is going to be blocked, right? It was ending a cycle. There is completion here. And it's like, as I look through this, it's all purples and blues now. When I first saw, I saw all black and blue, but this is the only one that talks about the past. This is the one talking about people's previous actions. And it does suck that you got burnt or stabbed in the back. It'll always be a reminder of, there's red flags. There's always red flags. And so if you are getting a red flag, they're saying, like, give some moderation here, right? Just because the moon, right? In this one, it looks like a crescent moon. But in full illumination, that's when you can see. So things were hidden, and you couldn't make choices if people are being sneaky and deceptive. So there is a bit of forgiveness, and forgiveness is for you. You forgive that person, those past people, And Coopy-Doo, you forgive the past people. You don't even have to physically go and talk to them, right? If you're so ready to let all that go, you don't need to have a physical face-to-face and let them know that you forgive them. It's when you forgive, that's when the release is. And if they owe you an apology, I don't know, I see you vibing at a point where you don't even need their apology. So if you're still waiting, I'm getting my throat like this, waiting for this apology, you may never get an apology from someone who did you so wrong. And so it's for you to let that go, that expectation, and you forgive the situation so that you can free yourself and then do the transition. If they do come back, that's only for them to do the healing, for them to let go. Because I do, right? Do I think that they'll learn their lesson? I don't. Only because there was a relationship change. I think the only way, like, let's say if the past comes knocking back, they have to be 100% a different person. They have to go through that metamorphosis. And the only thing that happens in a metamorphosis is, or required, is just time. So just take moderation when people come back showing, like, I don't know, I just see people coming back and claiming that they changed and looking for that apology or giving you that apology, but it's really stalling. It's just stalling. So, Four of Pentacles. At the end of the day, this is where we are. This is where we're working. And they said peace. Whatever it is that brings you peace, right? Because those back and forth minds, I know that the mind could just be so cruel to us sometimes. People outside of us have never said anything meaner than we've said to ourselves. And so if you are your harshest, meanest critic, that's an easy job to fix, because you know the boss. You are the boss, and you can control how you think and talk to yourself. But for outside people, you're allowed to choose peace and cut off those people. They're saying just make sure that you release the past and the baggage and actually do the transition part. The transition part is the peace before you go to the next one. Because if you don't do the peace, you don't come in peace and love and finally healing, the next go round is just going to be the exact same cycle. And the whole purpose is to get off this merry-go-round. Some people wait around though, and they think they have to heal forever, but sometimes action is healing. This moderation card was in reverse. It's green. Green is the heart chakra. Heart is all healing. And sometimes, right, in reverse, it was saying, go. Take the leap. Go for things. Because I'm seeing people just straddling so many areas, or avoidance, or just cutting ties and running. Just, you can't run from the responsibility. You got to do the inner work. And it's like, do you want to do the work now? Which is like, sometimes it could just be a day. Sometimes it could be months. Sometimes it could be years. But that's all up to you for when you actually stop. When you actually look and you hear that voice in you and be like, that's not me. That's the old me. And I don't have room for the old me, because we are now trying to grow in this. We're trying to have peace. You naturally are a loving soul spirit at the core of it all. So that voice is in there before the critic and the self-doubt. Let that one be louder. relationships should be super deep bonds right now. We're not getting into relationships that are just, oh, you make this much money and I make this much money. If we come together, like we can provide our basic needs, but never have that bond or that connection or that soul purpose. Because the way we make money and then the jobs that are coming forth soon are they're going to change. And so you really want to be with people who support you and help you build your path in your career and your dreams, because your projects and your goals and whatever your story is, that's the only thing that's really important in this time, as we are in this really, we're in a weird time right now. It's an exciting time. But when two things change, when two systems kind of overlap, that's why we really need this peace. Because not only are we in cycles that are ending and overlapping, but even as like bigger systems, things have to collapse and then new things are coming, and people who like to hold on to the past and they're very scared of the future. And so right now we're in this phase of blending two things, which is the partnerships. Partnerships are all about the blending, and the transition phase is all about bringing peace. So right now is just keep sorting, just keep letting things go that are old, and know that this new opportunities coming, new growth, new soul, whatever. And if you're not looking for a new career or anything, you're already there. Like, what cycles are you still clinging onto? Is there an apology? Is there something that's hurt you or stopped your progress from going even further? Right? We can always, no matter what situation we're in, look within, and everything's a cycle all the time. And so it's just a reminder to sometimes go, and then sometimes to go within. It's always the loop. But we don't have to keep doing the loop, right? I said we want off this merry-go-round. We're allowed to create and paint outside of the lines. And when we do that, it's going to create something new. And that's what we're bringing here. We're bringing in a higher, more loving frequency and creating this really cool world right now. So don't cling to the past and then quickly jump into another cycle. Really, really find that peace. Really find that love first before you jump into the next cycle. They're saying it's not healing that you need, it's just bringing peace. Because you'll always be healing. Your whole life is a healing journey. So if you always need to keep healing, you'll never grow. You'll stay in the same spot and you'll just heal forever. But by going out, getting, cuts and whatever, then the healing starts. But it doesn't mean life pauses. So what they really want to focus on is not needing to go with like cocoon phase for healing. It's almost a cocoon phase for stopping that inner fight within us. That's what is working right now. If that makes any sense to you. They're just saying healing is a different thing. There is some healing in this transition phase, but it's just a whole nother topic, whole nother can of worms. All we want you to do is just rest and find peace within yourself with that inner critic before you start any new cycles. But remember, time is going on. We're getting into summer. Like spring, the momentum is quickening. We're gonna go. There's gonna be new journeys. There will be. We've already experienced the death and the loss, most of it. There might be a little bit more things within us to still let go, but it's I feel like the energy to that is just like stagnant. So it's gonna fall off so easy. We're here at a completion. Don't worry about those who did you wrong. The forgiveness is only for you to free yourself from them. You don't need an apology from them in order for you to feel good about yourself, because that apology will only be for them to help free themselves from the binds of this betrayal. Remember, as we go forward, we're going to go mindfully. We're going to go with partnerships that empower us and keep things growing and evolving outside the box, outside the lines. It's blending two colors and powers together. In co-creation's best form of whatever it is. So we'll stop there. And so I have a little bit to reflect on this still. So I hope you guys have a wonderful day. And if you have any insights, I always love when you share. I love when everybody comes to me in whatever way. I know not everyone feels confident commenting on a public forum. So I love when you come pull me aside and say like, hey, this really happened and it was so cool and thank you. But yeah, I hope you have a good day. Bye guys.